Experience the cozy embrace of 4 hours of calming, sleepy stories that will help you fall asleep with the serene ease of the tide drifting ashore. You are listening to the Cozy Island Bedtime Collection. Sandy Gingras expressed, "At the beach, life is different. Time doesn't move hour to hour, but mood to moment. We live by the currents, plan by the tides, and follow the sun." Tonight we'll ease into a gentle journey to 6 various islands with continuous relaxing storytelling for sleep. Rainbow sand beaches and tranquil tropical islands give way to forested islands nestled in glacial lakes. Peaceful havens are bountiful, from tiki huts to cozy log cabins, overlooking lapping waves against the shore. Tonight's journeys invite you to settle and unwind amidst whispering dunes and firelit paths as the rhythmic waves lull you into a deep slumber. Each destination offers the escape and comfort you seek and deserve. It's time to dream away. Welcome to Michelle's Sanctuary. I am Michelle, and as you listen, think of me as an old trusted friend. Let my voice guide you to soothing escapes as I help you embrace the magical powers of your imagination. You get to decide how you wish to spend your final waking moments before waves of comfort usher you to sleep. This collection is for you to modify however you like, letting go of my voice and welcoming sleep whenever it feels right. We're going to begin with a brief relaxation to set the tone. Imagine your room transforming into a serene island cove. The world outside fades away, replaced by a soft moonlight, reflecting on the waves of an endless body of deep blue water. Gentle waves lap at the shore of your imagination, each one a whispering promise of bone-deep peace, swirling around your bed in a gentle rhythm. Your inner rhythm takes on the essence of island time, and your muscles respond by softening in kind. Feel everything slowing down, starting with your breath, as you surrender to the peaceful tempo of the lapping waves within your island sanctuary. You have made it through another day and have the right to do whatever feels good for you right now. Feel your body getting heavier, sinking deeper into the support of your bed as you let out a sigh. With a sigh, you cast away every worry or concern that may be stored in your mind, letting them drift away like foam on the outgoing tide. When you're ready, inhale slowly through your nose and imagine the warm air carries the faint aroma of the sea or a lake. Expand your body, approaching this breath with kindness and not pushing yourself. You may yawn at the top of your breath if you like, and then let everything out in a sigh. Every intake and out-breath brings more peace. Your muscles melt, and tension dissipates as a fresh wave of calm washes over you, bringing a sense of renewal, bringing a clean slate. Continue to breathe deeply as I count you down, each count clearing the air and giving your mind a chance to fully imagine tonight's stories. Count down with me as you shed any lingering tension and welcome the serenity of an island. 5. Sense the gentle energy around you shifting and hear the soft sounds of the island as your body slows down. 4. A feeling of quiet peace rises within you with each breath as you become aware of the subtle beauty of this place. 3. Calmness unfolds through you in slow, gentle waves of warmth and tranquility. 2. Your being aligns with the remote peace of this island retreat, and you notice every comforting sensation. 1. As you breathe deeply, perhaps yawn and exhale a relaxed sigh. You honor the you that is seeking rest and dreams, welcoming the quietude of the night. Your breath returns to an easy rhythm. It's time for the stories to begin. Caravan by the Sea. Sometimes the forces of nature bring both destruction and unforeseen blessings, opening the door to new possibilities. Not always its own island, Assateague Island, now a protected oasis, was once connected to the popular Fenwick Island until the Great Storm of 1933 created an inlet, dividing the land into two. Assateague Island is a barrier island that now runs 37 miles long. Jetties were put up to support this breach in 1933, as it gave instant access between the Atlantic Ocean and the rich Sinnapuxent Bay. For centuries, Assateague Island has offered a place of refuge, rife with natural resources, where humankind learned to live in harmony with its bountiful gifts from both land and sea. And while the temptation in modern times may be to overdevelop land for resorts, in 1965, the island received status as a national seashore, allowing it to remain an untouched paradise of bucolic beauty. The act of preservation ensured that its wild landscapes would remain unspoiled. Here, the ocean meets the sky, and the salt-kissed air mingles with the scent of pine as wild horses roam freely. The descendants of settlers' steeds, the horses have evolved, becoming shorter and more stout to survive in the limited vegetation on the island. Sometimes they are corralled by sea cowboys, but often left to roam freely. They represent the untamed spirit of the island, and a place that offers solitude and reflection and secret nooks to be enjoyed in even the busiest of summer seasons. You arrive on the island on a day in August, soon made aware of the mysterious shifts in weather that can occur on a cloudy afternoon. Having parked your caravan along a campsite with ocean views, you spend the afternoon roaming the beach. The silvery underbellies of low-lying clouds have kept the crowds away, and you revel in the soft music of the surf. as you wander along the dunes with your beloved dog. One of few beach escapes that allow pups to come along throughout the summer. You deeply appreciate the chance to share this beauty with your best furry companion. The moodiness of the sky offers a contrast that enhances the rich, otherworldly greens of the beach grass that billows like emerald feathers. Every now and then, you spot a chestnut brown and white pony wandering the dunes. You follow the tracks of a sandpiper. Their tiny starfish-like prints seem even smaller when compared to the paw prints left by your dog. Cool, lacy sea foam scatters the shore as gentle waves cascade over your bare toes with a surprisingly cold bite deep into what has been a hot summer season. The currents have changed, and the once tepid waters have become a cool reminder of the nearness of autumn. Yet the air remains humid and warm. The intense sun may still be felt through the blanket of clouds as a mist rolls in. You find a place to settle on the wide open beach, sitting on a pillow of sand as your dog begins fervently digging alongside you. They bury their nose into the wet grains of coarse sand, sniffing at something wild that manages to burrow faster than they can dig. Your dog raises its eyes to meet yours, with a pink tongue hanging out in total bliss as you brush away sand from its muzzle and eyelashes. Your efforts are in vain, as minutes later they dig even deeper before eventually settling down for a nap in their cool, damp sand den. You look to the sky, seeing the formations of clouds as the ethereal mist shrouds the beach, bringing a dreamlike quality to this enchanting moment. You inhale deeply, feeling the tiny droplets in your nose and the cool, salty air as it warms in your nostrils before arriving in your lungs. As your pup begins to snore, you watch crabs come to the surface and scuttle a safe distance from you, more curious about your sleeping pet than you. You get lost in the hypnotic waves, seeing a sandbar not too far out from the edge of the outgoing tide. As you turn to the south, you watch as 3 horses emerge from the mist. Their manes sparkle with fine droplets of water as white gold sunlight breaks through the clouds. The island comes to life, awakening in the promise of sunlight after a day where time was indiscernible in the gray and silver cloak of clouds and mist. The air becomes warmer with a change in it as the mist begins to stir and clear, pushed by the breath of a persistent wind. You rise quietly and stretch your arms overhead, grateful to have stayed, despite the forecast that called for a threat of rain. that never arrived. Somehow, you intuitively knew the day would unfold as it has. Your dog stretches and yawns beside you, ready to take on a new adventure. The mist, once thick and unyielding, continues to thin, the wind growing stronger, carrying with it the scent of salt and sea. It teases the edges of the island, lifting the veil that has kept the world hidden for the final hours of afternoon, to reveal the beautiful landscape in soft, hazy hues. And just as quickly as the wind rolls in, it dies down and almost disappears, but not before sweeping the clouds out over the Atlantic and revealing a pale, delicate blue sky that deepens into a bright blue as the sun lowers toward the horizon. The thin veil of mist that covered your face and skin evaporates quickly in the warm, golden sunlight. The tide is at its lowest, and the silky, glistening wet sand reveals a tapestry of broken shells in its absence. Your dog sniffs at a horseshoe crab discovered in a tidal pool. The species appeared over 200 million years before dinosaurs, and its prehistoric helmet shape is quite telling. Its telson, or its slender black tail, takes back and forth in the water like the pendulum bar of a metronome. The horseshoe crab keeps time in its own way, considered by many to be a living fossil, for it looks and behaves much the same as it did hundreds of millions of years ago. The waves lap gently at the shore, their sound a constant, soothing rhythm that lulls you into a peaceful state of mind and causes your heart rate to remain quite slow. Once your pup's curiosity over the horseshoe crab is satiated, they bound ahead, nose to the ground, following the trails of unseen creatures that lurk in tunnels that form bubbles in the wet sand. The beach stretches out before you like a carpet of pale sand, meeting the deep blue of the ocean. With the skies now clear, you decide to leave the shoreline to enjoy the sunset in the west, overlooking the bay. Your pup sprints and you follow, feeling strength and energy course through your legs as you aim to keep up. Your lungs take in the saltwater air with vigor as you laugh and smile during this impromptu dash to the wooden boardwalk that goes for 1/8 of a mile over the dunes. Your pup slows at the base of the weathered wooden stairs, turning to connect with you, where the dunes rise and fall in gentle undulations of soft sand, dotted with tufts of seagrass that sway and whisper in the breeze. The dunes are a world unto themselves, quiet and still, yet full of life. Monarch butterflies flutter in the sunlight, hovering over the delicate pink blossoms of beach roses. Seagulls call to one another as they soar above, preparing for their twilight feast. Sandpipers sing in their soprano tones. Their choruses are carried on the wind, with the susurrations of the tendrils of grass firmly anchored in the shifting sands. As you pass over the last rising dune, you come upon an empty parking lot and a silver ribbon of asphalt that winds through the national seashore and park. It sparkles in the sunlight, a path laid down by human hands, yet it feels strangely natural here as a horse crosses freely. There are no cars to be seen, no sign of the outside world intruding upon this moment of solitude. The road lies empty and still as you cross it with your dog by your side. The island is so narrow, it takes mere moments to reach the bayside. The rich amber sunlight turns the dunes and grasses into an opulent patchwork of gold and green. The sky above is a canvas of ever-changing colors, the blue deepening into a rich indigo with the first hints of sunset already beginning to show at the edges of the horizon. The bay comes into view, a vast expanse of water that stretches out wide to meet the sky, the two merging in a seamless blend of color and light. A few other fellow visitors, staying at the campsites, are in the distance holding binoculars tightly to their faces as they investigate and simply observe the marsh. You pause for a moment, taking in the scene before you. The water is still, its surface like glass, reflecting the sky in perfect detail. The grasses that line the shore are tall and straight, their tips catching the light as they dance in the breeze. You feel grateful that the winds have cleared the skies and mist, and have also served to keep the bugs away. You settle on a white pebbled area among shrub communities, with your dog close as the sun continues its descent. The colors in the sky intensify, shifting and blending into bands of crimson and magenta that stretch across the horizon like strokes of watercolor on a canvas. The edges of these rich colors transform into shades of gold, lavender, and peach. The clouds, once thick and heavy, have returned as delicate pink and lavender wisps reminiscent of cotton candy strewn across the sky. They catch the dwindling sunlight, glowing with a soft, ethereal radiance as they drift lazily overhead and their reflections ripple across the water below. The marsh, with its still pools and tall grasses and evergreen shrub communities, is bathed in the warm golden light of the setting sun. A dozen nearby wild horses lazily graze, their chestnut coats glowing with a rich warm hue in the fading light. Their heads dip down to the ground in search of the tender shoots that grow along the water's edge. Your pup sniffs the air, rich with the smell of marine life and the horses that only get closer. But your pet settles, staying curious yet calm as the horses approach. The scene is peaceful, a moment of pure, unspoiled beauty that feels suspended in time. The air is filled with a scent of salt and sea that mingles with the sweet earthy aroma of the marsh. The only sounds are the soft rustling of the grasses, the occasional snort of the horses, and the rhythmic lap of the water against the shore. The breeze remains calm, now a mere whisper that brushes against your skin, carrying with it the last warmth of the day. The colors in the sky continue to shift and change, growing deeper and more intense as you can count the seconds before the sun is fully gone. The bands of color seem to pulse with life, the sky ablaze with shades of red, purple, gold, and orange. The world glows with an inner warmth, and you feel the smallest ache of longing for time to freeze, for this moment to last a while longer. Days like these are the kinds we all wish we could hold in our hands, savoring them again and again, all the while knowing that the contrast of less amazing days is necessary for these perfect moments to feel perfect at all. Your dog curls up beside you, their excitement giving way to peaceful drowsiness. The longer you sit, the more the world around you seems to fade into a serene, almost hypnotic rhythm. The waves, gentle and constant, soothe your mind as the last golden light on the bay disappears. Your gaze drifts to a sandbar not too far out from the edge of the outgoing tide, where the water is shallow and clear. The sandbar, with its soft golden sand, retains the hoofprints of nearby horses. It looks almost like an extension of the shore, one of many secret places to explore on the island. The noise and bustle to the north, in tourist towns along the coast of Delaware and Maryland, is non-existent in this quiet paradise. In this place where nature may be honored and enjoyed. As the darker blues of twilight move in, you rise, ready to return to the campsite, eager to enjoy a meal and a bonfire overlooking the Atlantic. You and your pup pass by a series of tents and campers that were willing to stay despite the wrong weather reports for rain and storms. Like you, they appreciate the quietude, yet still give a friendly wave or knowing nod when they see you pass. You follow along a wooden gate that leads to a quiet, sandy lot where your custom caravan awaits. The world around you is bathed in soft, silvery twilight, the stars beginning to twinkle overhead, their light reflecting off the dunes and cresting sapphire waves. The moon rises over the ocean as you open the doors to your recently renovated caravan. The interior is decked out with wooden flooring, the shade of sand, with customized ivory cabinets and hidden spots to store things, and walls with sea green and turquoise accents. A mason jar of collected shells and sea glass sits on the countertop next to a glass canister of dog food that your pup notices immediately upon entering. You dish out a serving in a ceramic cobalt blue dog bowl, and then watch them feast on the kibble, taking laps of water in between from a stainless steel bowl on the floor. The interior has coastal allure, with soft chairs and a bench that all transform into places to sleep should you have guests. Dried eucalyptus and sage hang from twine in the kitchen, their aromas mingling with a saltwater breeze that comes through the screened windows, circulating with a soothing freshness. You enjoy a quick and easy bite to eat and a cool, refreshing drink, not realizing how famished and thirsty you were until now. You gather a lightweight hoodie from a closet, and then your dog to return to the beach for a bonfire. You take a pail of firewood and lighter, carefully stowed in a compartment outside the caravan, and trek back the sandy path to the beach. Along the way, horses seem to trail behind you en route to the sand, where they habitually roam when the typical crowds leave after sunset. You keep a respectful distance from them as you find a spot and position the logs and kindling to start your fire. The sea breeze helps fan the flames that quickly take hold of the dry, splintered wood. Stars twinkle in the clear, midnight blue sky as a waxing gibbous moon rises higher. Orange gold sparks fly toward the sky, and the crackles and pops add to the infinite soundtrack of the ocean. Your dog curls at your feet once more as you watch the flames dance, peering down the island to see the flickering light of bonfires to the south. Every now and then you stoke the fire as you lose time, as you lose yourself in the magic of the night, the same magic that existed on this land long before you arrived. But all that matters is you get to be here right now. One of many souls that got to enjoy the beauty of Assateague. You stay long after the flames become embers, long after your pup has resumed a second round of snoring on the beach, and long after the first series of yawns hit you. But as a heavy wave of drowsiness arrives, you surrender to the inevitable and rise. You walk to the ocean to fill the pail with seawater, to douse on the remaining glowing embers, bidding goodnight to the Atlantic, to your bonfire. You gather the remnants of charred wood and place them in the pail. Your pup stirs and follows sleepily behind you as you guide them to the campsite. The night wraps around you like a cool, velvety cloak as you make your way back to your caravan. Your feet press into the still warm sand, crunching along to the fading sound of the surf. Your dog trots alongside you, tail wagging, eager to return home. Although you know, to them, home is anywhere that you are. The caravan waits on the other side of the dunes. A cozy haven with an ambient glow set against the wild beauty of the island. You take your pup to a nearby outdoor shower as cool water sprays out of the spigot in a gentle arc, and you rinse the sand off your pup. The water splashes against their fur, droplets sparkling in the moonlight, and your dog wiggles happily. The night air is filled with the earthy, clean scent of wet fur, mingling with the faint brine of the sea. Once clean, your dog races you up the steps of the caravan, stopped by you as you open the door and grab a plush towel to dry them off. You then enter the caravan and walk to the cozy bathroom as your dog settles on the bathroom floor, the towel beneath them as they curl up in a ball. Their eyes grow heavy in a second, lulled by the warmth and security of the moment. You smile down at them, your furry protector, so grateful for their company and standing watch. The bathroom is aglow with the soft hues of moonlight, pouring through the aquamarine and light purple stained glass privacy window. The colors dance on the walls, shifting and blending like the night reflections of water in a pool. You turn on the shower and step into it to feel the coolness of the marine blue tiles beneath your feet. The water cascades over you, lukewarm and comforting, washing away the day's adventures in a steady, gentle stream. The water is silky against your skin. A rich lather of your favorite soap fills the air with its calming scent. You look beyond the stream of water through the skylights to take in the moon and stars. As you rinse off, you marvel at how the last of the sun's warmth still radiates through you. Gentle reminder of the final sun-soaked hour of the day. The water splashes against your shoulders, and you close your eyes and lean into it, savoring the sensation of the lingering heat melting away beneath the cool night breeze that slips through the open window. The circulating air carries with it the fresh, crisp scent of the ocean, mingling with your redolent soap, creating a heady, intoxicating blend. You turn off the water and step out of the shower. The air is cool and tingling against your damp skin. You wrap in a fresh towel as your pup stirs and licks water droplets from your toes. You change into your favorite pajamas, reserved just for nights like this, spent camping beneath the stars. The fleece fabric is soft and worn, familiar against your skin. And as you slide into the long sleeves and pants, you look forward to the cool night ahead, perfect for sleeping, as the fabric keeps you toasty and warm. You walk into the private bedroom in the back of the caravan. The queen-size bed is centered beneath a thick glass ceiling that reveals the sky above, the stars and moon a sparkling canopy overhead. The air is cooler in here, the ocean breeze circulating through the windows in each wall, refreshing and clean, the ideal temperature for sleep. The duvet is plush and inviting, a soft cloud of comfort that beckons you to hide beneath its folds. Your dog jumps onto the bed, curling into a tight ball at the foot of the duvet. Their breathing slowing as they find their spot for the night. You climb into the center of the bed, the cool sheets brushing against your skin, and rest your head on the pillows. The room has an airy coastal feel, decorated with black and white photos of you on various beaches. Snapshots of days as perfect as today, captured in time. As you gaze up at the sky through the glass ceiling, you wonder if Assateague might be your new favorite beach. Its untamed beauty and wild spirit are unmatched. The ocean breeze continuously drifts through the room, caressing your face with its coolness. You close your eyes, letting the sensations of the night wash over you. The gentle rise and fall of your dog's breathing at your feet. The softness of the pillows cradling your head. The coolness of the sheets against your cheek. And the steady rhythm of the waves outside. You surrender to the magic of this ascetic night, its wild beauty seeping into your soul, guiding you into a deep, restful sleep. The island's untamed spirit dances through your mind to inspire your dreams. The horses, the waves, the sky, the commitment to keeping this island pristine will give you hope. Welcome the waves of sleep that tug at you, inviting you to let go or enjoy another island tale. Bungalow on Rainbow Island. Rainbow Island is a mystical crescent moon-shaped oasis set in the heart of a sapphire sea, not far from a chain of islands in the South Pacific. It's not the only island or landmass that displays its history and evolution in prismatic bands of indigo, teal, mustard, scarlet, and orange rocks. But it is the only island with folklore that depicts whispers of mermaids and goddesses of the moon and earth who commune during challenging times in history. They gather on the cardinal sand to bring healing to the world as a new moon rises. The mineral-rich earth offers new discoveries for scientists, otherworldly visions for artists, and a tranquil place for all who come. Scarlet cliffs rise along the coastline, protecting the valleys of mustard-hued streams, verdant flora, and salt caves. The deep blues of the ocean transform into turquoise waves until they arrive in the coves of Rainbow Island and take on the hue of rubies as they shift the raspberry sorbet-colored sand. The air is balmy against your face, and your breathable attire billows in the breeze as you travel on a winding dirt road to your bungalow by the sea. You sit in the back of a Jeep. The top and windows are down, and you can taste the salt on your lips. You rock back and forth in the vehicle, surrendering to every new turn and jostle, as you realize how relaxed and at ease your muscles have become. So far away from home, you are open to the adventures that come. Having left all the rigid routines of life behind you, sunlight pours through the open-air roof onto your heart center, further warming a place that already felt warm and open. The crystal blue skies would be the richest of hues in almost any other landscape. But on Rainbow Island, it competes with the saturated colors of the diverse minerals and waterways. Emerald green shrubs dapple the coral and fiery red hills. Skinny sapphire streams wind around the valley and gather in a deep yellow and chartreuse pool. For centuries, volcanic rock competed with rising tides of salt water to create this land of salt and stone. The first souls to inhabit this colorful land would visit the highest sage and rust-hued peaks where salt crystals coat the jagged edges like layers of ice. Those early visitors believed the salt would relieve them of negative energy so they could enjoy a life of hope without bounds. As you travel across the island, your driver explains the healing powers of the salt and earth. He tells of red dirt being used in clay masks and used to season local dishes with its exotic flavor profile. The rubiest of reds have been used in pottery and by artists depicting a land that is easy to believe only exists in fairy tales until witnessed in real life. The air smells of the sea, as well as a sweet spice that you cannot place. It's the kind of fragrance one might find browsing through an exotic spice market, somewhere among glass mason jars of cinnamon sticks and cardamom pods. The red dirt road leads to the entrance of an eco-friendly resort where open-air bungalows overlook the sea. You rest your back against the seat and sigh, taking in the mangroves that line the perimeter of the property. A wooden sign painted in the rich tomato red hues of the cliffs reads Ruby Sands Resort. The driver brings you to your bungalow and parks. He helps you carry your bags. You walk on a mauve stone path that winds around palm trees and leads to the bungalow. You walk through the open double doors as white chiffon curtains take flight on the cross breeze. The driver places your bag down on a table and wishes you a wonderful stay at Ruby Sands. The bungalow overlooks the crimson cliffs and the vibrant sand that pours over the beach like melted raspberry sherbet. The turquoise sea laps against the shore, ushering you into a deeper state of peace with each wave. The room carries the same exotic, spicy smell of the scarlet earth, married with the fragrance of coconut. An attendant named Dahlia appears at the door to greet you with a large green coconut on a tray, a welcome drink to hydrate you after your long journey. She informs you of the floating pool and outdoor shower and lets you know that the bungalow is stocked with all essentials, but you are free to request anything else you may need during your stay. You thank her and hold the waxy green orb in your hands sipping coconut water from a bamboo straw. The sweet, nutty liquid soothes your throat. She says she will return for your complimentary sunset spa experience before she slips away behind the billowing curtains. You unpack your garments and place them in the wicker drawers of a rustic dresser decorated with sea green knobs shaped like mermaid tails. The hiss of the sea calls to you, and so you change into swimwear and wrap a towel around your body. The sun beams brightly, filtered through the feathery fronds of palm trees that line the sandy path to the beach. The powdery sand has bands of pink and gold that become darker shades of pink and red the closer you get to the water. The protective scarlet cliffs surround the inlet, offering a private place to take in the beauty of Rainbow Island. The sky is a bright shade of cerulean blue, darker than the turquoise waters that wash over the vibrant beach. You place your towel on a red rock and walk towards the sea. You watch your feet as they sink into the shiny, wet sand, soon covered in strawberry-hued grains. For a moment, you feel as if you have traveled to another planet, so far away from earthly troubles and concerns. The shimmering water slips over your feet and ankles, massaging you with its tepid waves. You wade deeper until you can submerge your entire body and float, surrendering to the tide, where sparkling turquoise waves stir the ruby sand. Your eyes follow the gradient of pink sand on the beach that becomes darker and richer shades of red until farther out in the water, where it becomes shades of light blue and green. The salinity of the sea surrounding the island makes it easier to float here than in any other body of water you have ever experienced. You let go to the soothing tide, bobbing up and down as your eyes focus softly on the ubiquitous blues and reds that blend together like oil pastels. The sun lowers until it is between the center of the sky and the horizon, covering you in radiant heat that contrasts the lukewarm water. Floating on your back, you feel supported by the ocean and deeply inhale as your chest expands like a puffer fish. The more you inhale, the higher you float. And when you exhale, your body goes just below the surface of the water, undulating with each breath, taking on the rhythm of the waves The tide delivers you softly to the shore, and you rise out of the ruby waters and leave footprints in the raspberry sand. You return to the bungalow as palm fronds susurrate overhead. Outside the bungalow is a turquoise floating pool and orchid garden with plum, burgundy, and yellow dappled ivory blooms the size of baby elephant ears. You walk to the rustic outdoor shower, surrounded by a bamboo enclosure. You cleanse yourself of the salt water and ruby sand beneath the rectangular rain shower head. The water flows over you, and the red sand leaves a trail in the water's wake. You wash your hair with coconut and mango shampoo made locally. You rinse away the lush lather and look at the blue sky as wispy white clouds roll by. You turn off the shower and dry yourself in a plush white towel. Every muscle in your body is soft and relaxed. You wrap yourself in a lightweight cotton robe and feel the breeze on your skin. It's as though everything in this moment has conspired to create the most pleasant and softest experience. You revel in the ease, in the simplicity of existing. Every breath comes and goes with the same grace of the trade winds and the sea. You walk out to the patio and rest in a lounger behind the blue floating pool. The sun hovers just above the horizon when Dahlia reappears. She inquires about your day and sets a wicker basket on a mosaic table. She tells you that a new moon is rising, and the people of the island use this time to focus on their dreams and all they hope to manifest. Honeyed light pours over the jagged red cliffs and the swirling ruby and turquoise water as golden hour begins. Dahlia prepares a face mask with crimson clay sourced from the valley. She mixes it in a rugged stone bowl and begins to apply it with a soft brush. You close your eyes. Goosebumps form on your scalp in this pleasurable moment of being tended to. The face mask is cool, tingling, and hydrating. She covers your forehead, cheeks, and chin. The brush moves between your brows and down your nose. The trade winds blow through the patio as the last light of the day covers your body in a warm, sparkling blanket. Once she is done applying the mask, Dahlia massages your neck and shoulders as you look out and watch the sunset. When she comes upon any places of tension or holding, her strong, tiny fingers maneuver the knots and smooth your skin. She can sense any shift in energy, and when your mind begins to chatter, she whispers, "It's okay to receive." This idea soothes you, opening you to receive all the beauty and magical energy in this moment on the shores of Rainbow Island. The sky becomes as diverse and vibrant as the island, in jewel-toned hues of amethyst, garnet, and yellow topaz. Surrounded by more colors in nature than you have ever seen before, all at once, you feel as though you are drifting through a sea of paisley dreams. Dahlia massages your scalp, and as the blood circulates, you feel a lightness in your body and a warm, tingling sensation in your head. You breathe slowly and deeply. Every exhale comes out in a sigh. Dahlia takes a warm, damp cloth that smells of botanicals and removes the mask from your face. Your pores open, breathing in the seaside air. Your skin feels mentholated and silky. She massages coconut oil onto your forehead, cheeks, nose, and lips. Her thumbs press over your temples, your eyebrows, and then under your eyes. She presses a circle around your eyes. Once finished, she thanks you for the chance to exchange energy and tells you how much she appreciates your openness to receiving. She removes a glass bottle that contains a healing tonic for you to drink and enjoy. You thank Dahlia from the bottom of your heart, and she reminds you to cast your dreams on the night sky and wishes you a night of good sleep. As twilight begins, you enjoy the viscous, sweet tonic that she has left for you to drink. It is complex, satisfying, and satiates you. You walk to a hammock hung from 2 palm trees, overlooking the ruby sand and incoming tide. The nocturnal songs of frogs and crickets join the ocean's persistent hush as the first stars appear. Tiki torches illuminate the beach, and lanterns strung around the patio come to life. The netting of the hammock wraps around your body like a cocoon, and you rock back and forth, and back and forth. You look to the indigo sky as it becomes like a cinema screen, depicting images of mermaids and goddesses coming together, aiding along the dreams of mortals. In many ways, you feel all wishes have been granted as you enjoy the splendorous offerings of Rainbow Island. Some believe that dreams first arrive as a whisper, and far away from the noises of modern life and chaotic routines, you have the ideal setting to listen, to feel these dreams stir within you as you imagine. Your mind drifts, free of judgment and self-criticism, to all ideas and visions of yourself that bring you joy. In many ways, Rainbow Island goes beyond the imagination, beyond earthly expectations, mystifying scientists and inspiring dreamers. The preternatural beauty of the rainbow layers of earth and the glittering ruby waters. Open your mind and heart into believing that anything is possible. The new moon rises, faint and barely visible behind the silvery white clouds. The night sky turns the ruby sand into a rich shade of aubergine. Your eyes slowly and walk to the edge of the patio. You rest your hands on the smooth stone railing and inhale the perfume of jasmine and the sea. Something moves in the water and creates a flash of silver. And for a moment you imagine it is the tail of a mermaid. The words of Dahlia come to mind. It's okay to receive. With your heart pointed towards the garnet cliffs and new moon, you make a wish for yourself. Perhaps this wish entails many small dreams coming together. It could be a new dream for yourself or for the world. You send it out into the vast night and smile You take in the reflective beauty of the sea, the sparkling stars whose light shines through the gossamer clouds. Gratitude fills you to the brim. You return to the bungalow, feeling quite heavy and tired. A queen-size bed suspends from crossbeams in the ceiling, surrounded by a mesh net. You pull back the net and climb atop the floating bed. Once again, you feel as though you are inside a cocoon, protected from the outside world, while still connected to its beauty. Your head sinks into the pillows, and the trade winds blow through the bungalow. The temperature is perfect for sleeping. The cotton sheets and lightweight blanket are cool and soft against your skin. And every time that you think you are more comfortable than you have ever been, you surrender to a deeper state of serenity and comfort. The energy of the island heals you and supports the quest to find beauty in this world. You drift to sleep, knowing that your dreams will be supported. You inhale and sigh as the gentle tide pulls at the shore of your thoughts. You might just float into another story, or simply let the waves of sleep wash over you. The Island of Chimes. Anyone who ventures to the Island of Chimes is first met with a weathered, hand-carved sign with wood fibers that have become feathery over time, gently stirred by the lakefront breeze. The sign reads, "Listen to the wind chimes. They are the voices of the island, singing secrets to the soul." These chimes also sing the secrets of souls who have come to this island since the 1950s, a summer refuge on one of many islands in Lake Champlain. The island in modern days is a testament to a dreamer who for a brief while lost the ability to dream, but remembered once more beneath the canopy of pines along the lapping waters of the lake. The story of this unique getaway began with Clarence Annabel, a writer whose name had become synonymous with literary acclaim in the mid-20th century. The very success he had once craved began to stifle the quiet joy he once found in the simple act of creation. The constant demands of fame, the relentless scrutiny, and the expectations of his readership had created a divide between the celebrated author and the once hungry, passionate man who had first fallen in love with words in the mysterious place between a breakdown and a breakthrough. Clarence gently readjusted the sails of his life, seeking the currents that would carry him forward into the person he wished to become amidst this period of uncertainty. Unsure of what to keep or discard, he found a small, unassuming island on Lake Champlain. It offered an antidote for his life in bustling Manhattan. Quietude, solitude, and a remote place where no one could interfere with the conversations this man needed to have with himself. Clarence became the island's first permanent resident, building a modest cabin nestled among the trees overlooking the lake. The structure was intentionally rustic and bare, harking back to the mountain shanty where he was raised. Without electricity or running water, he remembered how adaptable humans are and how his mother had once made their struggles playful and romantic. Her influence had allowed him to become the imaginative dreamer that brought him such success. Clarence would spend his first summer alone on the island, and only after a year did he allow a guest, a beloved childhood friend named Ruby, a free spirit who often inspired the strong heroines of his most well-received novels. His letter arrived unexpectedly, finding her during a brief pit stop in London during a year of whirlwind travel. She brought him a wind chime, crafted from slender bamboo, gathered during travels in Southeast Asia, and smooth river stones collected from shores where she often skipped them, each toss carrying the silent wish that they would one day reconnect. Clarence hung the chime near his writing desk window, and as the gentle lake breezes stirred its well-traveled components, a familiar melody filled the small space. It was a tune that resonated deep within him, a haunting echo of the chimes that had once graced his mother's garden. The song of the chimes unlocked forgotten memories that flooded back. The warmth of his mother's smile, the scent of her garden, the carefree days of his youth, when he was encouraged to read, explore, and daydream. He remembered his mother's words about wind chimes, spoken with a longing in her eyes and a warm smile. She had said that each chime offered a chance for wishes to take flight, the breeze acting as a constant reminder that these hopes and intentions were set in motion, carried and nurtured by the world around them. As Clarence sat at his desk, words came to him, and he went on to write the most confessional, life-changing works of his life, as Ruby helped shift his sails once more. As he wrote by hand, he'd observe her in the garden, the sun kissing her auburn hair and creating an angelic aura. He saw the magic in the world once more. Throughout the remainder of the 50s and 60s, the small rustic cabin was joined by charming cottages and other dwellings nestled among fragrant gardens that Ruby lovingly tended. The island, once a solitary retreat, began to welcome guests, often friends and fellow artists, drawn by Clarence's quiet magnetism and Ruby's warm and peppy hospitality. Gatherings and low-key parties became a feature of the island summers, filled with laughter, shared meals under strings of soft lights, and the ever-present music of the wind chimes. Guests touched by the island's unique spirit began to bring their own chimes, often handcrafted with materials found on their travels or designed to reflect their personal intentions. A beloved tradition emerged. Upon arrival, guests would craft or bring their chimes and then wander the island's paths to find a special place to hang them. Often they would sit quietly on the earth beneath their chosen spot, listening to the gentle music, a moment of quiet contemplation as they cast their dreams and intentions into the island's magical song. Clarence, with his innate trust in the goodness of the human spirit, and Ruby's nurturing heart, ensured that the island's unique purpose would endure. Even after they were gone, their legacy lived on through the countless chimes that sang in the breeze, welcoming visitors seeking their own refuge, a place to reconnect with themselves amidst the island's gentle, whispering winds. Clarence created a trust to forever ensure the protection of the island of chimes. The gentle hum of the water taxi's engine brings you closer to the island of chimes on this balmy afternoon. Nearly 70 years after Clarence first sought refuge on its shores, a cool, fine mist rises from the surface of Lake Champlain, kissing your bare arms and face with a refreshing coolness that contrasts with the intense golden sunlight that warms your skin. The air smells clean and fresh, carrying a hint of lake water and distant pine and cedar. The small vessel cuts smoothly through the calm water, and the captain cuts the motor as you drift slowly. A gentle wake shimmers in the sunlight, and small rainbows form in the mist. You watch the shoreline of the mainland recede, replaced by the increasingly verdant embrace of the island ahead. As you draw nearer, the first delicate tinkling sounds of chimes can be heard. The same air that caresses your skin is the invisible conductor of the island's symphony of chimes. The water taxi docks, and you let out a sigh of relief. This is just the place that you needed. You disembark with a few other guests who are just as in awe of the island as you are. A stone path, moss-kissed and uneven with age, winds its way upwards, and the chimes greet you. Not a sudden cacophony, but a delicate chorus. Slender bamboo clinks against smooth river stones with melodies that are light and airy. pieces of sea glass chime with a soft, frosted resonance. Long brass tubes create a deep chime of longing. Each chime is distinct, a unique voice in the island's ongoing conversation. The path leads you past several charming cabins and cottages, each nestled discreetly amongst the looming pines and the broad-leafed maples. The original one-room cabin now serves as the island's artist studio, a space where visitors come not only to craft their own wind chimes, but also to perhaps unearth or nurture their own dormant creative spirits. The air within its log walls often carries the scent of wood shavings, the soft clinking of tools, and the quiet murmur of focused concentration. Sunlight streams through the large windows, illuminating works in progress. Pieces of driftwood, carefully chosen shells, and long bands of metal catching the light. A sign above the door reads simply, "The Studio." Inside, the air is filled with quiet creativity. Sunlight streams through the large window, illuminating work tables scattered with driftwood, shells, beads, and tools. This is where you and countless others before you can craft your own wind chime, a tangible piece representing that you were here. You decide to settle in first and continue to walk down a pebbled path to your cabin. The charming guest house overlooks a vibrant rose garden. The heady perfume of the blooms marrying the woodsy air as you approach and enter. The four-room cabin is an example of simple elegance, modernized, yet still maintaining the aesthetics of summer bungalow retreats. Whitewashed walls are adorned with old framed photographs that capture the island's sunsets and sunrises throughout time. Just above the stone fireplace and hand-carved pine mantel is a beautiful silhouette photo of Clarence and Ruby, younger, their faces full of hope, holding a newly crafted chime before the vast expanse of Lake Champlain. The room is adorned with antique lamps and colorful works of art, vibrant and lively, depicting quiet, enchanting woodlands and summer gardens. A red gingham tablecloth covers a round dining table that features a note welcoming you to the island, as well as a prepared early dinner of the kinds of food you like to enjoy on vacation. You savor this comfort food, unaware of how hungry you became on your journey here. Birdsong joins the melodic chimes as you step outside on the deck, bringing with you a near-finished wood chime. As you make your way to the studio, you glimpse other guests cherishing the island's solitude. Figures tucked away on their porches, reading by sun-speckled windows are disappearing down wooded paths. You make your way to the studio, putting the final touches on the chime you started to create before arriving. Each element holds sentimental meaning, representing simple moments and symbolizing unshared dreams. The air in the studio is warm and dry. Particles of sawdust dance on the weathered wooden planks of the floor, sparkling in the rich honeyed light that streams through the mullioned windows. Clarence's desk sits in its original place, and you can sense the spirit of the writer in the room, swept up in the same sense of peace and inspiration that he once found here. As you secure the last piece, you feel a part of yourself taking root in this tranquil space. Shelves line the walls, with mason jars brimming with art supplies that are restocked by caretakers. Many other unique items have been left behind by visitors in communal milk crates. Even those who arrive feeling not an ounce of artistic talent may feel a childlike curiosity to try something new. You settle on a bench and place your chime on the table. A jar containing metal tags, artistically engraved with dozens of words of intention, sits before you. Some include the words peace, clarity, forgiveness, hope, new beginnings, and abundance. The tags slip between your fingers, and the metal is cool in your hands as you pore over them and select a few that resonate the most. You thread these words at the end of the chimes, watching them glisten in the abundant light of the studio. With your finished chime in hand, you venture into the woods, purposefully, but without anything to guide you but your intuition. The island is half a mile wide by a mile long and is easy to navigate by foot on a day like today. The path narrows, winding beneath the canopy of rustling maple leaves and long, feathery evergreen branches. The air scented with the crispness of recently fallen pine needles underfoot and the lingering dampness of a pre-dawn shower purifies your lungs with each deep breath. Sparkling gold light filters through the branches, catching the myriad of wind chimes that adorn the island like plump, colorful fruit and metal antiques that bear the patina of years spent in the Lake Champlain weather. A cluster of sea glass chimes shimmers, their pale greens, cobalt blues, and aquamarine, softened by years of sun and wind, brought by a sea-loving visitor from Newport, Rhode Island. Nearby, a set of vibrant ceramic chimes, painted with crimson roses and sunny yellow tulips, is slightly faded by decades of exposure and dated 1978. It tinkles merrily and was brought by a young couple celebrating their honeymoon and the bright future they envisioned. Deeper in the woods, a more somber chime of dark polished wood hangs silently, its surface weathered by countless seasons, with a small 2003 etched into its base. Along the lakeshore, a whimsical chime made of found metal objects, spoons, keys, and washers, clangs gently, its once bright surfaces now bearing a touch of rust, a playful creation from someone who came to the island seeking a spark of joy after making major life changes in 2015. Higher in the branches of an old maple tree is a delicate arrangement of hand-painted porcelain bells, their once sharp colors now muted by time, dated 1992. It came as a gift to the island from a group of friends celebrating a milestone birthday in the decades that they shared together. Then you notice a simple chime of stones strung together with twine, some strands showing signs of wear, marked just 2022. Quiet intention for healing and peace, left by a solo traveler taking her first trip after a couple years of hiatus. Each chime, with its unique materials, colors, and sometimes a date or a collection of words, tells a story of love, loss, hope, and transformation. It's like reading a book about many souls who found peace on this island throughout many decades. As the end of each warm weather season approaches, the island's caretakers make their rounds, carefully inspecting the chimes. Those in need of repair are gently restored, and the more delicate or historically significant pieces are brought indoors, sheltered from the harsh winter, ensuring their stories and songs will continue to grace the island for years to come. You discover a clearing edged with white pine and cedar trees, and intuitively feel this is the spot. The lake can be seen at the edge, its glittering waves lapping against the rocky shore. You carefully hang your chime, the familiar objects now creating a new, unique melody. It's the first time you've heard the music of your own creation. As the sun begins its slow descent, painting the sky in hues of fiery red and rose, you settle onto the soft earth at the edge of the clearing. Forget-me-nots dot the grass around you, their vibrant purple blue a stark contrast to the lush greens of the woodlands. The grass is still warm, retaining the heat from this ideal sunny day as you weave your fingers together and create a basket with them to rest your head. You lie back, watching the cotton candy clouds drift through the sky. The wind picks up slightly, and the island's chimes sing with renewed vigor, a collective sigh carried on the evening breeze that encourages you to sigh along. The chimes glint, reflecting the magenta light of the setting sun. Solar lanterns cast a warm glow along the woodland paths. This time you choose the narrowest trail, hugging the lake's edge. The rippling water mirrors the deepening twilight sky, already hinting at the first hesitant stars. The chimes now carry a nocturnal resonance, joined by the sounds of crickets and tree frogs. The chimes ring out into the night air, their music weaving through the long shadows and the soft lapping of lake water. Through the trees, the inviting warmth of campfires flickers like gold topaz, and hushed conversations drift on the cool evening air. You pause by a crackling fire and say good evening to fellow visitors. Standing in the dancing shadows and orange marmalade light of the flames, the scent of wood smoke adds another layer of comfort under the emerging starlight. A heavy wave of tiredness takes hold, and you return to your cabin, grateful for the modern amenities that Clarence did without when he first arrived. The warm water in the shower washes away the day's journey as you lather with a deep green pine soap that leaves the breath of the woodlands on your skin. Refreshed, yet so very sleepy, you towel off and slip into soft flannel pajamas. The temperature begins to drop with the cool lakeside air, perfect for a deep and restful sleep. The windows remain open just a crack, allowing the air to circulate through the bedroom. A 4-poster bed in the heart of the room, made from salvaged trees on the island, damaged in a storm, has beautiful grooves and patterns that are mesmerizing in the moonlight that pours through the windows. You pull back a plush ivory duvet embroidered with forget-me-nots along the edges. The linen is cool and velvety against your skin, its weight upon your tired body yet another gentle nudge towards sleep as you settle beneath its warmth. The distant music of the island's chimes helps guide you across the bridge between your waking and sleeping life. The island's soundtrack is a lullaby of intentions and dreams, imparting a sense of everlasting hope and a reminder of how connected we all are to one another and to the beautiful world around us. Just as a wave crests and then recedes, you might find yourself drawn into the unfolding of a new adventure, or simply drift away into the embrace of slumber. Esme's Island Getaway. Under the canopy of swaying palm trees, your eyes to the soft rhythm of the sea lapping on the pearly white sand beach. Morning light filters gently through the open shutters and dancing sheer curtains of your private bungalow at Esme's Island Getaway. Birds sing outside your window, praising another perfect day in paradise. You begin your day dressed in swimwear and billowing lightweight attire that is soft and pleasant on your skin. Every sensation comes with an invitation to revel in how wonderful it is to be human and to be part of this beautiful world. Your bare feet touch down on the cool bamboo floor, and you slide them into a pair of comfortable sandals. Outside, a path of polished stone leads to an open-air breakfast buffet where the island awakens with ease. A sleek white table, pristine and elegant, stretches beneath ivory canopies that billow like the sails of a boat. A rainbow array of sliced fruit fans across the table in colorful waves. Papayas, coconut, pineapples, mangoes, dragon fruit, and star fruit are arranged like a modern painting. The air is fragrant with a mingling sweetness of ripe mangoes and the briny air. Harry Belafonte croons softly on overhead speakers, the crackling sound of vintage vinyl enhancing a sense of travel to a simpler time. Other guests at Esme's Tiki Resort slowly congregate around the buffet table, easing into the morning with the same peaceful, unhurried approach as you. Esme's artful touch is everywhere, from the cornucopia of breakfast dishes to the tiny details like plumeria in crystal vases on cafe tables. As you sip a refreshing glass of chilled coconut water, your gaze drifts to the shoreline where shells shimmer like scattered jewels on the sand. Each morning holds the promise of gentle adventures, walking along the beach to collect treasures left by the tide and getting lost in the delicate curves and lacy edges of aquamarine waves. like a tempting gesture, imploring you to come hither. The sea calls to everyone on these tranquil mornings. It brings the promise of a cool reprieve as the afternoon sun rises and the heat intensifies. But right now, the heavenly air embraces you with such gentle comfort. The world feels forever soft. You linger at a cafe table on the lanai, letting out a sigh with a wonderful feeling of being without an agenda. The soft clinking of plates and silverware, and the occasional flutter of wings from curious island birds begging for crumbs provide the morning soundtrack. Feeling satiated, you stand and stretch your arms overhead, loosening in the island's easy warmth. The soft strains of the morning soundtrack transition into lively surfer songs from the early 1960s, bringing a bright tempo to the day ahead. You walk along the winding path to the sand. Pepper red hibiscus and waxy green leaves line the edges. Emerging from the dappled sunlight, Esme appears like a vision, effortlessly embodying the spirit of the resort. Her teased hair rises in a half beehive as elegant waves flow down her back. Esme's caftan swirls around her in flowing shades of turquoise, salmon pink, and soft yellow, mirroring the colors of sunrise and the sea. Her every step is light and deliberate. The long, skinny straps of her gold bohemian sandals winding up her calves like shimmering twine. She pauses briefly to greet a guest with a warm smile and a gentle hand on their shoulder, her bronzed skin glowing. She exudes the charm of an old Hollywood star, fully devoted to the timeless elegance of an era decades before her time. She is a brave soul who crafts a world and lives life on her terms. To Esme, mornings are for lingering. She laughs in the face of modern scheduling and rushing through this pleasant transition into the fresh canvas of a new day. Since the doors of the resurrected resort opened, guests would detail their lives, full of stress and made-up deadlines. Esme found it peculiar. She always felt that time was everyone's individual gift, and theirs to do with it what they chose. She'd hear their stories and feel deep gratitude that her resort could provide a sanctuary for the soul. Though she never had children, she treats her guests with maternal energy, a fairy godmother we could all use at some point. To Esme, adults need tenderness and care as much as children do. Her whispers in the morning are a reassuring reminder that it is okay to slow down and enjoy life. It's okay to be goalless for a little while. Esme approaches you, inquiring how your morning is going, and you feel a magnetic pull to her. Your interaction is like stepping into a childhood memory you'd forgotten, but never stopped aching for. Esme reminds you, with a graceful hand placed on your arm, that you are part of this magical world and that there is magic within you. She continues on with effortless grace, pausing to adjust and say quiet praise to a blooming hibiscus on the path. Her presence lingers long after she slipped away, like the sweetness of tropical air at dusk. She leaves you with a profound sense of peace, knowing you are exactly where you need to be. Every guest recognizes that Esme belongs on this quiet island in the South Seas. But her journey here was not an easy one, and unsupported by most of her family and community. Esme grew up in the icy wilderness of Alaska, where survival was the first skill taught. By 6, she could loop chains around her small boots with lightning speed, mastering the art of walking on ice. On daily ice fishing trips, her father taught her to slither like a seal should the ice crack beneath her weight. Her community was deeply proud of their ability to thrive through endless weeks of darkness and unending nights. But when Esme discovered her grandmother's collection of travel brochures and music from tiki culture's golden age, she couldn't imagine why anyone would choose this cold, austere life. She hated the cold and the many layers required just to step outside in the winter. Her childhood room became a rebel's haven, a vision of escape to an island where she would one day resurrect an old resort. A bamboo-patterned lamp sat on her dresser, casting a warm glow over turquoise walls she'd painted with her grandmother, her only ally. Vintage postcards of beaches and tiki idols, rescued from a thrift store, adorned the walls. She fell asleep to the crackle of her grandmother's vinyl records, the swaying sounds of ukuleles and steel guitars painting dreams of islands drenched in golden light, becoming more real than the harsh winter outside. In the corner of her room stood her favorite possession, a rattan chair shaped like a peacock's tail that her grandmother begged her father to bring back from Anchorage. She draped it with faux lace, practicing sitting like a movie star, imagining herself in glamorous flowing dresses instead of bulky parkas and wool sweaters. Those childhood dreams would touch the lives of many who found their way to Esme's Island Getaway, a time capsule of mid-century tiki splendor From fiery torches to cozy bungalows and glamorous spreads of tropical food. It was Esme's vision of warmth, light, and beauty, a far cry from the icy tundras she once knew. Her story dances in your mind all morning as you begin to wonder what changes you might make in life. New adventures and long-held desires that have been kept at bay now flourish in the South Seas. You remove your sandals, balancing them on your fingers as you walk barefoot through the powdery sand, collecting shells on the way to the dock. The water sparkles under the sun, a kaleidoscope of blues and teals, inviting you to join in its beauty. At the dock, the afternoon excursion boat awaits, rocking gently. A sleek vessel with a polished wooden deck and ivory canopy, evoking a timeless elegance. The captain stands by the gangplank, greeting guests with a toothy grin and hearty laugh. His weathered face and bronzed skin speak of countless days spent on these waters, his cheerful demeanor putting everyone at ease. Like Esme, his daily adventures answer the call of his soul, and his deep sense of happiness is infectious. You step aboard, greeted by the inviting atmosphere. The deck's benches are adorned with cushions featuring island flowers and lush ferns. 3 guests are already seated, their energy adding warmth to the intimate gathering. One is an older woman with a cascade of silver hair loosely gathered at her nape. She wears a flowing linen dress in ocean hues, her posture elegant yet relaxed. She may have been a ballerina in a former life. She's waited a lifetime for this trip. Beside her sit a brother and sister in their 30s, dressed casually in lightweight shirts and shorts, who are also first-time visitors to the resort. The boat pulls away from the dock with a gentle lurch, and the engine's soft vibrations are met with a surprising rhythmic slap of waves against the hull. It startles you all, and you break out in nervous laughter. But from here on, the sailing is smooth. A layer of saltwater mist lands on your face and arms, bringing a cool sensation and contrast to the warm sun. The captain shares the history of the surrounding waters as the island recedes and then disappears. Yet the water feels uncharted, arousing a sense of freedom and curiosity. This ride stirs a feeling, and you realize how much you wish you could slow down time and stay here just a while longer in the comforting embrace of the sea breeze and cresting turquoise water. As the boat nears jagged limestone formations rising dramatically from the sea, it slows and the anchor drops. The captain opens a trunk of snorkeling gear, inviting everyone to dive into the water and explore the caves if they'd like. Equipped with fins and a mask, you slide into the tepid water that feels much cooler compared to the afternoon heat. The sea is impossibly clear, offering a breathtaking view of the vibrant world beneath the surface. Fish of every color dart between coral reefs, their movements fluid and hypnotic. Rays of sunlight filter through the water, creating shifting light patterns on the sandy bottom. The older woman joins you, moving gracefully through the waves, her silver hair shimmering in the sun as she swims ahead. The younger man dives deeper, pointing excitedly to a sea turtle gliding past. Laughter and shared wonder ripple through the group as you venture toward the caves. Feeling a tingle of excitement in your abdomen, you follow behind the older woman, who no longer lets fear hold her back from anything. She enters first, and you follow behind, your fins propelling you forward with ease. Swimming into the shadowy depths of the caves, the walls rise around you protectively. The limestone shimmers faintly as mineral deposits catch what little sunlight filters through. The sound of your breath echoes softly in the stillness, while tiny silver bubbles ascend like luminous pearls. A flurry of rainbow-hued fish darts around them, curious and swift, only to scatter in playful disappointment when they discover the bubbles hold no promise of food. The group swims back to the caves with pangs of hunger and a sense of satisfaction. Your lungs, used to their greatest capacity, now relax with each easy breath, unburdened and free from any weight of stress. When you return to the boat, you find a small box waiting for you, neatly tied with a turquoise ribbon. Inside is a perfectly prepared meal, tailored to your preferences. You savor it on the return trip. The flavors bright and satisfying, just like this day at sea. As the shoreline comes back into view, the golden hues of late afternoon bring the promise of a romantic sunset. The boat slows, and the captain expertly guides it to the dock. Once your feet land on the sand, you turn back to thank him once more, your heart full from the day's adventures. You feel a camaraderie with a silver-haired woman and the younger travelers, and express you will hopefully see them at dinner. Back at your bungalow, you step into the outdoor shower nestled within a private garden of palms and flowering vines. The warm water flows over your tanned skin, washing away the salt and sand from the excursion. You pause for a moment, letting the droplets cascade over you. You lather a bar of coconut soap that fills the air and your lungs with its sweet, toasty aroma. Each breath feels restorative, grounding you in this serene corner of the world. The sky begins to shift into a canvas of deepening blues, and for the first time all day, you hurry just a bit in an effort to catch the sunset. Your skin feels silky and smooth as you towel off and wrap yourself in a floral robe, walking back into the bungalow. An outfit bought for this occasion hangs in the wicker armoire, and you change into the light, airy fabric that captures your favorite tiki-era look. You wander out to the private dock before your bungalow, stepping on the creaking planks that rock in the tide. A rattan hammock chair swing, suspended over the water, beckons. You ease into it, letting your toes skim the surface of the sea. The horizon stretches endlessly before you, painted in breathtaking shades of amber, coral, and violet, as the fiery magenta sun lowers. The sea is still, its surface like liquid glass, reflecting the colors of the sky. Tiny ripples undulate like jewel-toned silk, capturing your attention. The perfume of the night takes hold as the deepening sweetness of frangipani fills the air, and you decide to rise for dinner. Tiki torches line the stone path, their fiery light creating rising peaks of shadows and light. Dinner is an intimate affair on the open-air lanai, with tiny candles and carved-out coconut shells, casting a golden glow over the tables. You savor every bite of the meal, thoughtfully prepared once more to meet your customized preferences. The flavors burst on your tongue, vibrant and clean, perfectly balanced to nourish both body and soul. As you sip on a frozen coconut cream and pineapple drink with an umbrella straw, steel drums begin to play, and the dance floor comes to life. Esme confidently moves in the center of the bamboo dance floor, now dressed in a caftan of deeper blues, greens, and purples, and sequin patterns that swirl like a vintage Poochie scarf. Her now silver sandals sparkle as her movements flow with grace, casting a spell with her welcoming energy. Even the shyest, most awkward guest feels emboldened to move their body to the music, emulating the tempo of the trade winds and the incoming tide. Esme's joy is contagious. She connects with every soul with a gentle smile or touch or curtsy, inviting you all to welcome the rhythm of the night on the dance floor beneath the stars. You lose yourself in the music, every muscle warmed and stretched by the fluidity of your movements and the balmy tropical night. The island has awakened a new version of yourself, softened and free, and there's just no going back. By the time you return to your bungalow, the island has fallen into a hushed stillness, and a crescent moon is in the center of the sky, hovering over the sea. The stars feel close enough to touch, scattered across the purple-black sky like a million glowing gemstones. You step onto the veranda, inhaling deeply as the gentle night air brushes your skin. You feel a headiness and a bone-deep tiredness as you shuffle indoors. You slide into lightweight, breathable pajamas and climb atop the tall bamboo canopy bed. The linens cool and crisp against your skin. As your eyes grow heavy, the tropical notes of the day linger on your skin. A tangy blend of sea salt, coconut, and papaya that carries you into slumber. The susurrating palms and the whispering sea help your mind drift into a dreamscape. Here, visions take shape, blossoming with clarity and promise, waiting to one day become the waking moments of your life. Your last thought before drifting to sleep is what a wonderful world this truly is. Feel the ebb and flow of each breath, choosing to drift along with another story or settle on the quiet shores of sleep. The Island Fairies. In the vast southerly expanse of the Pacific Ocean, one may encounter a collection of islands so enchanting, so captivating, that they seem plucked from the dreams of weary souls caught in the frenzy of modern routines. Thousands of islands, scattered like jewels, include exotic places such as Tahiti, Fiji, and Samoa. Isolated in a place that feels remote and far away for many, these islands have become idealized as heavenly getaways where one may forget it all. However, not all of these islands are accessible by adventure-seeking travelers on voyages. The spiritual realm serves some of these ancient isles, sheltering them from intruders. In an effort to keep the islands pristine, they slip behind a veil of protection offered by the sacred energy aroused when volcanoes erupted and formed these gemstones of the South Pacific. The island of Lumi has appeared in folklore for thousands of years, when the first brave souls in modest hand-carved vessels made their way beyond the realm of protection, welcomed by the fairies who tended to the island. Magical tales were retold around seaside bonfires and depicted on the walls of caves with shimmering paint in vibrant hues. Yet the island of Lumi remained mysterious. The more humans sought to conquer or explore the sacred place, the less often they were able to find it. It was the kind, unsuspecting souls who shined brightly with compassion and curiosity that would somehow wind up in this magical land without the slightest inkling to try and find it. You find yourself in the center of the vast Pacific, nestled in a small boat amid the endless cerulean waves and powder blue skies. Soothed by the blues, as the last hours of sunlight reflect off the water like millions of mirrors, you feel the wind on your face and inhale the smell of the aged wooden vessel and salty yet sweet tropical air. The small boat is a masterpiece of craftsmanship. Its knotty wood is polished to a lustrous sheen, magnified by the beauty of the rich golden sun. Carved out of mature wood from a coconut tree with precision and care, it bears the marks of skilled hands and time. Smooth and sturdy, the boat seems to have a life of its own, its curves and lines blending with the waves, with mystical embellishments depicting mermaids, fairies, and an army of animated coconuts. As you run your hand along the polished wood, you can feel the warmth of the sun waning, and you wonder how many sunrises and sunsets this boat has served. You alternate between guiding the tiny yet mighty vessel through the vast expanse of blues with a paddle, and simply going with the flow. Waves lap against the boat as you surrender to their gentle rocking back and forth, left in a dreamy daze by their trance-inducing melodies. The sun hangs low on the horizon, casting an iridescent tangerine glow across the ocean's surface, painting it in pastel hues of raspberry pink, peach, and gold. The sun's rays caress your face as the soft sea mist dances around you, leaving tiny droplets on your sun-touched arms and face. The sea breeze creates a tingling, cool sensation upon touching these droplets of salt water. As you marvel at the saturated hues, blending in breathtakingly beautiful gradients from yellow topaz to amethyst, playful dolphins emerge from the ocean depths and surround the boat. They breach the waves with grace, their inquisitive eyes assessing your character. With a sense of wonder, you lean over the side of the boat, reaching out as one of the dolphins approaches, eagerly allowing you to nuzzle against its smooth, glistening, elephant gray skin. The dolphins squeal and emit messages below the water's surface, letting the beings of the South Pacific know that you are welcome. With their encouragement, mermaids appear, swimming alongside the coconut wood vessel, playfully splashing at you as they giggle and speak in an unfamiliar language. And while you cannot understand their words, their motivations are clear. They simply wish to enjoy the last moments of daylight in their natural home by having fun. The sun hovers just above the horizon, and you know once it disappears, there truly is no plan on how you may navigate the night at sea. Yet deep down, your intuition presents itself with a persistent sensation that begins at your heart and radiates throughout your person like an anchor of peace. It instills a sense that everything will be okay, akin to the feeling a newborn has when entering the world, as he or she depends on those around to help them thrive. Just as now, a world opens before you with a bounty of fantastical beings looking out for you with a sense of joy and adventure. You watch the shimmering tails of mermaids diving beneath the sea and rising once more to clutch their arms around the dolphins that speed through the water. Everything sparkles around you, so much so that you can hardly take it in with mortal eyes. This kind of beauty is something artists try to capture in paintings and photos. Yet a piece of art may never fully replicate the tangible changes you feel right now. You watch the wide bands of sunlight shrinking across the water as the sun fades fast. You inhale deeply, smiling without a care, and a deep sigh is timed to match the final descent of the sun. Barely dipping your toe into the night, you hear the joyous chorus of voices that you at first interpret to be sea sirens, but these enchanting voices are innocuous, causing even the dolphins and mermaids to become still in reverence as they simply float in the gentle tide. A shimmering presence surrounds you as bands of navy blue, purple, magenta, and orange streak across the sky, tinting the turquoise sea with warm tones. Fairies, with their ethereal glow, emerge from the fading light. Although they were there all along, they swoop around your vessel, stealing your paddle with mischievous glee, before latching sparkling strands to the smooth edge of the boat. These pearly white, lavender, and pink strands are sturdy like fishing lines, but in the hues of twilight, they appear to be as delicate as a spider web. The fairies wear ethereal dresses that waft just above the lacy opal crests. They make haste as they charge the small vessel through the sea. Their attention is focused ahead, and their jovial personalities become temporarily subdued in this dedicated pursuit. The vessel soars over the waves with such speed, the movement sends a tickle through your stomach. The same sensation felt riding on country roads over unexpected hills, as the sky transforms into a canvas of vibrant colors, and the first stars twinkle into existence. The island of Lumi appears on the horizon, like a mirage beckoning you forward. The silhouette of palm trees and the powdery white shores are made slightly blurry by what appears to be containment in the largest bubble you've ever seen. With a sense of total surrender, you allow yourself to be carried by the fairies, gripping your hands around the taut strands that connect the coconut wood boat to their mighty force. As you approach the bouncy orb that protects the island, a single touch of a slender fairy finger causes it to pop, and reveal the glittering island of Lumi. Powdery white sand like diamond dust offers a soft landing as the fairies lift your vessel above the water and drop it on the shore. You steady yourself and rise, feeling the tropical trade winds dry the remnants of seawater on your soft skin. Your summery linen attire billows, glowing in the light of the rising moon as stars light up the velvety indigo sky. The mermaids bathe in the moonlight, stretching out and fanning themselves dry as they perch atop volcanic rock beds. Your feet sink in wet sand that retains the heat of the afternoon sun. As the tepid water forms lacy designs, where the sand and sea form tiny ripples that massage your soles. You hear a clatter, a strange patter of small feet, and turn to see an army of coconut sentinels emerging from the enchanted tropical forest beyond the beach. These pint-sized beings march with the feisty spirit of a pack of protective chihuahuas, surrounding you with a sense of purpose. You stand in the heart of their circle, and the fairies and mermaids laugh together. The island is protected, and everyone knows the Coconut Squad is more for show than practicality. But anyone who's had a coconut fall on them from the top of a 20-foot tree is well aware that a coconut can be forceful and powerful. The spirited coconuts peer up at you in the moonlit cast. After some grunting and pretense, they deem you a worthy guest, transforming from a militant lineup to a playful crowd that begins to rock and roll quite literally among the surf. The fairies ignite tiki torches along the shores, and you hear the melody of a ukulele coming from somewhere behind you. Following the light of a lavender fairy, you discover, seated within the lush white and yellow petals of a plumeria flower, is a sprite minstrel. The boyish creature strums at the instrument, its sound defying expectations based on its size, to join the croaking of tree frogs and gentle surf lapping against the shore. His tiny clothes are spun from the finest spider silk, shining with a silvery sheen. He pays no attention to the fairies or mermaids or coconut army, or even you, as his nimble fingers pluck away, so lost in the music as he fills the air with a joyous song. Each melodic note captures the magic of Lumi and its laid-back island spirit, and each graceful move as he plays, causes the plumeria to release its sweet, peachy, and creamy perfume into the salty night air. Tonight is a long-awaited time for the fairies that hover above a nest concealed in the shadows on the beach. Their sheer reflective wings flutter fast as they release fistfuls of fairy dust into the air. It falls with grace, as if in suspended animation, before landing on the nest of sea turtle eggs in the process of hatching. A glittering blessing. It gives the tiny turtles the courage to leave the safety of the nest and travel across the silky wet sand into the Pacific. Around the world, baby sea turtles may struggle to avoid predators on their precarious march to the vast sea. But in Lumi, the fairies are there to protect them as they trudge along the first time. Their clumsy flippers shuffle along as siblings encourage one another to proceed, led by the glow of the moon and fairy light. Their procession creates a crunchy patter as the sprite minstrel plays around their rhythmic sounds, fitting melodic strums between the silent pauses. An extraordinary night to behold. You stand in awe. The mermaids to your right, the coconut army and sprite minstrel behind you, and the fairies to the left guiding the hatchlings into the sea. Though it's a gentle, low tide, some of the tiny turtles still struggle to find their way. Some are flipped upside down. But the fairies and siblings give nature a chance to correct their course, and it does. Such small, spunky beings on the island of Lumi have a presence that far exceeds their size. They have a resilient spirit that stirs something within you, connecting you with your inner fortitude and adaptability. You watch as the last of the hatchlings make it into the sea and walk to the water's edge to cheer them on, hoping one day to see them once more when they revisit the shores of Lumi. But the night has much more in store as the fairies lead you southerly toward a mystical lagoon. Following their light, you hear the distant whispers of a waterfall. Lush flora surround the pristine aquamarine water, with vibrant pops of persimmon, red, yellow, fuchsia, and purple tropical flowers. As you get closer to the lagoon, formed by coral reefs that keep the fresh water separate from the Pacific, you encounter a majestic, narrow waterfall with moonbows in its mist. A trio of unicorns sips from the sparkling water, lowering their sleek white manes into the cascade. The fairies focus their attention on the sleeping water nymphs who rest during the daylight hours and come out to play when the island becomes cool. The nocturnal beings are smaller than the fairies, but just a bit larger than the sprite minstrel, a fact they often use to tease him with. Adorned in rich shades of green and earth tones, they blend in with the tropical ferns and palm trees as they dream through the day. But once awakened, long after sunset, they come fully to life, skating across the silky lagoon water like dragonflies, nourished by the tonic of nightfall. And in some strange way, their zestiness alerts you to your fading energy. The intuitive fairies come to the rescue, leading you to a hammock stretched between two towering palm trees, as aware of your needs as they are of all living creatures, from flora to fauna on Lumi Island. Luminous wisps dart around the rustling fronds overhead, connecting the physical world with the spiritual realm. Within their light, they carry the essence of the island, and its tales of all the souls who've come to heal, to frolic, and to honor its sacred beauty. The wide palm fronds cast a mesmerizing silhouette against the starry sky, backlit by the moon as it takes center stage up above. Each fluttering leaf seems to dance to the enchanting sounds of the lagoon, casting shadows on the water where the nymphs now float on their backs. Their tiny hands clasp behind their wild, curly tendrils of long hair, their legs crossed and propped with a some ease most of us may only find on solid ground. Settling into the hammock, you feel the embrace of timeless ease wash over you like a soothing wave. The fairies, with their ethereal glow, flit about with graceful movements, their delicate wings shimmering in the moonlight. With a sprinkle of fairy dust, a coconut lands on the earth, rolling towards them. A fairy in pink pierces a hole into the outer layer with the slightest tap of her elbow, while another flies over with a bamboo straw and inserts it. They deliver the mature coconut to you. Your hands wrap around the brown husk as you rest the tropical delight on your sternum and sip slowly. The taste of the sweet, creamy milk floods your senses, transporting you to a state of blissful tranquility. Its smooth texture moisturizes your lips, leaving a lingering sweetness that comforts you and encourages your sleepiness to grow. The trade winds cause the hammock to sway to the rhythm of the palms, watching as the fairies busy themselves, tending to the lagoon, ensuring that all its inhabitants are well cared for and content. You count the stars twinkling above, their radiant glow filling you with a sense of wonder and awe as you perceive the faint opal reflection of the protective orb that surrounds the secret island, keeping it invisible to most human eyes. As sleep begins to weigh heavy upon your eyelids, the fairies understand the importance of rest. With a gentle call, they summon a majestic unicorn to carry you back to the shore. The unicorn bows before you as you hoist yourself up with the aid of the fairies with their unbelievable strength. Their gentle glow leads you through the tropical flora on a different pathway back to the beach. The sound of the surf crashing against the jetty of rocks fills the air as the fairies guide the unicorn to an overwater villa on a wooden pier that extends into the South Pacific Sea. The tiki-style dwelling has a thatched roof and open-air design. As the tropical night breeze circulates through the lofty space, the unicorn lowers once more, its horn twinkling as she blesses you with a night of enchanting dreams. You step from the cool sand to the weathered wooden planks of the pier to feel the papery yet solid surface of aged wood beneath your feet. Each step echoing in the stillness of the night. With each stride, you draw closer to the sanctuary of the overwater villa, where the gentle lullaby of the ocean awaits and the susurrating breeze lures you. The fairies stay along the shore, blowing out the tiki torches, giving you privacy as you luxuriate in an outdoor shower. It is fed by rainwater, as pure and pristine as the mountain-fed streams of Fiji. As you step beneath the cascade, the lukewarm water envelops you and cleanses you of salt and the remnants of the day's adventures. The scent of coconut mango soap fills the air as your body is coated in its lush lather, moisturizing your skin to a level of softness that makes everything feel better. With your head tilted back, you peer up at the moon, its silvery glow casting a gentle radiance upon the surrounding landscape. The moonlight dances upon the surface of the ocean beyond the bamboo enclosure, creating shimmering ripples that reflect the celestial beauty above. Emerging from the shower, you wrap yourself in a long, flowing gown of white cotton, its soft fabric billowing in the tropical breeze. The fairies meet you in the bedroom suite, peeling back the covers and ensuring you feel safe and at home. You climb into the four-poster bed made of bamboo and sink into its plush embrace, cocooned in this tropical oasis. The sprite minstrel settles in a swing made of seagrass that hangs in open windows overlooking Lumi Island. His fingers pluck the melody of a comforting lullaby on his uke. Above, the tiki hut-style roof reveals skylights through which the stars twinkle, scattered across the velvet expanse of the night sky. Your heavy eyelids close as the fairies blow a pinch of sleepy dust over the bed, and you inhale the smells of papaya, coconut, sweet seagrass, and the sea. So heavy, so tired. With a contented sigh, you surrender to the gentle transition to sleep, in your heart longing for your dreams to bring you back to Lumi. As one moment transitions to the next, you may find yourself drawn into another island tale, or you might choose to surrender to sleep. 4 seasons, 1,000 islands. It began as a challenge, or perhaps a dare, from someone who told you should visit the 1,000 islands in every season. With a heart led by wanderlust, it seemed like the perfect push to ensure that you traveled more. An island can feel isolated and solitary, but the archipelago of 1,000 islands brings a sense of community. Each island offers a small world on the St. Lawrence River, connected by boats and the promise of new discoveries. You arrive for the first time in spring, as the final thaw of the season has brought the islands back to life. The river flows freely once again, connecting communities and reopening homes. In the quietude of the shoulder season, you arrive on Wellesley Island, home of 2 state parks that comprise 2/3 of the land on the island. The St. Lawrence River and the rich wet earth cast their perfume on a balmy morning. You spend the early hours wandering through a park and come upon a doe and her fawn sipping from a narrow metallic silver stream that was once a trail of ice. You dip your fingers into the brisk water, and it renews you. A fluffle of brown baby rabbits graze in a clearing in the wooded area beyond the stream bank. In a month's time, the park will come to life with visitors setting up camps and reveling in nature. But now, you and the animals of the woods are the only ones bearing witness to the awakening of spring. So much more can be experienced by foot than by car, and so you walk for the rest of the late morning to your accommodations. You travel along the grassy shoulder of a 2-lane highway that runs parallel to the waterway and is dappled with forget-me-nots and dandelions. You pass by scarlet and dark green cottages overlooking the river. The clear blue skies become overcast as you near the end of your walk. The silvery gray clouds and sudden bleakness contrast the newly sprouted emerald blades of grass and rainbow array of tulips to create a dreamy, otherworldly vibrance. You walk by a small marina and look out on the softly lapping blue waves. The sounds of squeaking ducks join the songs of geese and swans that swim along the shoreline. 7 baby ducks waddle behind their mother across the velvety grass, and one falls behind while the family looks at you suspiciously and continues forward. The rebellious duck turns its neck inquisitively towards you. The baby mallard walks over and pauses at your feet. The brave, fluffy duckling looks up and lets out a quack. As it does, a ray of sunlight beams through the clouds and shines on you both. The golden light is warm and sparkling. As you look into the beady eyes of the downy brown and yellow duckling, you share a moment. You admire the adventurous spirit of this little one, and its curiosity matches the same sense of intrigue that led you to the 1,000 Islands. The mother soon notices the duckling is missing and scuttles back to scold it and nudge its tiny body back to the lineup. You continue your walk to the Heart House, a bed and breakfast located in what was once an 80-room summer cottage, slipped across the frozen St. Lawrence River, piece by piece, to make room for the Bolt Castle. The innkeepers restored the majestic cottage over time, and the rooms are timeless and regal. As you come upon the entrance, purple-gray bellied storm clouds create shadows on the grassy estate. The first fat droplets of cold rain land on your cheeks and hands. The air becomes cooler, and you are instantly relieved that you arrived just in time. Stone chimneys and a watchtower jut against the stormy sky. Lush spring flowers in hues of magenta, fuchsia, lavender, yellow, and ivory surround the entrance to the bed and breakfast. The cedar shake siding is a tawny gray. Weathered by time, yet freshened up by the white trim around the porch and many windows looking out on the river. You enter the foyer, illuminated by the soft glow of a chandelier. A fire roars in the stone fireplace, crafted by the innkeeper, who learned over time how to anticipate the dramatic weather shifts on the islands. There could not be a better day to spend in this romantic retreat. You check in and receive your key and continue to the cashmere suite as rain pelts against the windows and roof. The suite boasts Bedouin decor with gold accents and lush shades of red walls and linens. A canopy bed sits in the heart of the room, and elephant statues and gilded paintings decorate the walls. The worldly ambiance adds a timeless feel. It conjures thoughts of 19th century adventurers traveling the world by ship and filling trunks with souvenirs from exotic lands. You retreat to the bathroom and fill the tub with steamy water. An afternoon bath is a perfect tonic for the sudden chill in the air. The luxury of this getaway offers a time to simply relax and enjoy an afternoon nap. The regal tub overlooks a fireplace that you go to and start a fire. The flames cast an amber glow on the burgundy walls, adorned with gold leaf paint. You add a wooden spoonful of spiced citrus bath salts, and the fragrance of orange peels and cinnamon permeates the warm air. You undress and slip into the deep whirlpool tub. The jets massage your shoulders and neck. You release tension you didn't know you were holding in the winter months, where you often braced yourself for the cold. Spring brings a state of ease and opening that you enjoy on this sleepy and rainy afternoon. The rain comes down harder and the sky darkens, making it impossible to guess the time. The only indicator that an hour or so has gone by is that the bathwater becomes lukewarm. As you drift in and out of a meditative state, feeling quite sleepy, you rise out of the bath and dry off with a plush cream towel. You slip into a robe and cinch the belt around your waist. You return to the bedroom and draw the rich red paisley curtains closed. You pull back the heavy crimson quilt and climb into the canopy bed. The pillows and mattress are the plushest you have ever encountered at an inn. Your body sinks into them, and you quietly celebrate the freedom of the spring getaway. The luxurious setting and the beautiful nap that you have earned. The rain continues to fall, and you drift into a dream-filled afternoon. The dreams are vivid and memorable. the kind that come when you rest in a new place and feel safe. And when you look back on this spring getaway, you will recall the impressions your dreams left on you, as much as you remember the coziness and charm of the Heart House bed and breakfast. Some months later, you return to the Thousand Islands, aboard a water taxi to a private island, where you booked a rustic cottage for the weekend. The warmth of summer intensifies the perfume of the St. Lawrence River, the sweetness of pine trees, and the fragrance of campfires from an island campground across the river. The taxi drops you off at a white dock that creaks with the current. The weathered paint peels away from the boards beneath your feet and reminds you of the papery bark of white birch trees. A cool breeze off the river slices through the warm, humid air. The island is no more than an acre, and a century-old cottage sits in a clearing between evergreen trees. Buttercups and milk thistles dapple the earth with pops of yellow and reddish purple. You travel light, with a backpack that has your basic necessities and a bag of fresh groceries from a farmer's market. The owner of the cottage keeps the kitchen stocked with the most basic essentials, and a garden in the backyard offers fresh tomatoes, squash, and herbs. You arrive in time to enjoy a few hours in an Adirondack chair overlooking the river from a rocky beach, feeling your body become warm in the afternoon sun. Neighboring islands host single homes, and while you enjoy the solitude, from the south side of the beach, you observe a family swimming off a river dock. You never feel completely alone, even having an island to yourself. At sunset, you raise a summery beverage to the adults on the opposite island, and they toast the air along with you. The fiery magenta sun casts the verdant islands in opulent light, the color of molten lava. Your mind is quiet, and you are so invested in the natural beauty around you that you could easily spend the day watching the change in colors and light from the quiet island, not being bored once. You enjoy a meal on the wooden deck that wraps around the cottage with views of water from all sides of the modest home. At twilight, you journal beneath the twinkling mason jar lights strung across the porch. You fill the pages with your handwriting and gratitude for the ease of this day. It's quite unlike your spring journey to Wellesley, and you find yourself enjoying the opportunities summer brings. You hear a sound, a flapping and a cry from an animal overhead that echoes across the water. The sound is prehistoric, and as your eyes follow the screech, you see a bald-headed eagle in flight over the island. The expanse of its wings and the size of its head surprises you. From feather to feather, the bird's wingspan is more than a half-meter longer than your height. You watch the silhouette of the eagle's wings as it soars over the rippling river as nightfall sets in. The bird is indigenous to North America, and for centuries encountering one in the wild was considered a spiritual sign to be courageous and stretch your limits. Your heart feels warm and open as your chest expands towards the sky, and you inhale the tepid evening air. You imagine what it would feel like to glide across the sky and tackle each new day with the grace and courage of an eagle. This magical moment will stay with you for a long time. You return to the cottage to dress in a warm hoodie and gather matches and a fire starter. You gather a few pieces of tinder and logs from a bin on the deck. Fireflies hover above tall blades of grass and a carpet of rusty orange pine needles. You walk to the back of the cottage to the fire pit and ignite the fire starter, gradually adding tinder and a log to the fire. You settle into a canvas camping chair that hugs your back. The sounds of children laughing as they run along the beach of a neighboring camp travel across the river. Golden sparklers flash and illuminate their tiny silhouettes. You make out a half-dozen islands in the distance from the amber light of campfires that aromatize the summer night with the smell of wood smoke. You watch the flames dance and flicker and slowly burn down into embers, feeling lost in the beauty of the night and sure of how late it is. You feel lost in time, a feeling that keeps happening on the 1,000 islands, and you enjoy it immensely. When tiredness takes over, you return to the cottage and note the few campfires that continue to glow and reflect on the river. You enter the cottage and it smells of old wooden beams and fresh strawberries sitting in a basket on the table. Moonlight pours through 4-paned windows with gray trim and illuminates your path to the bedroom. Sheer lace curtains cover the bedroom windows that overlook the dock. Pearly silver light reflects on the silky water and sparkles like 1,000 stars made for wishing. But at this moment, on this perfect summer night, you feel short of wishes beyond one, that this experience could last forever. You change into your pajamas and focus on a watercolor painting that hangs over a white antique wrought iron bed. The painting depicts a full moon shining over the island and reflecting on the St. Lawrence. No matter where someone exists in time, the experience of taking in the full moon on the river as it casts the forested islands in shimmering light, is a magical experience felt by all. You climb into the antique bed and settle beneath a marine blue coverlet and crisp cotton sheets. The linen smell of fresh laundry dried in the summer sun, hanging on a clothesline. You drift asleep, grateful and lulled by the sounds of the river lapping against the rocks. You return to 1,000 Islands in the fall for peak apple picking season. You arrive early in the morning to enjoy a cruise around the islands. The boat is at half capacity, a pleasant way for it to be after a busy summer season. The season of autumn comes in like a sigh. The crisp morning chill lingers on the gauzy mist that covers the waterway. Jewel-toned foliage reflects on the river in hues of topaz, magenta, blazing orange, yellow, and plum. The air smells of sweet, decaying leaves. The damp earth smells of tobacco and pine, and the river smells flinty. All of these aromas come together on the breeze and hover in the mist. For an hour, the cruise weaves between islands, and you admire the rustic cabins, the ostentatious cottages, and the bold castle on Hart Island. The rich hues of autumn complement the 6-story Rhineland castle and drawbridge more than any other season. A red sandstone tower contrasts the clear blue sky. The tower is constructed of stones locally quarried from the riverbank and once housed a bowling alley and recreational activities enjoyed by the Bolt family. No expense was spared as Mr. Bolt built the 120-room castle for his beloved. But upon her untimely death, he halted construction and never returned. His heart was broken, and he could not imagine a life in the dream castle without her. As you learn of the story, you connect with this universal message that all the material possessions in the world cannot replace the deepest human connections. And so many decades later, the castle was finished and parts of it restored to its current splendor. The story leaves an impression on your afternoon spent in the apple orchards, picking apples and focusing on simple pleasures. The air smells of the juices of Golden Delicious, Empire, and Macintosh apples. You walk through pumpkin patches as children make their selections for Halloween. As you approach a red barn that serves as the cider mill, the fermented aroma of pressed apples layers the air with the smells of fresh bales of hay. The honeyed afternoon light slips through your fingers like time. You explore golden fields where chocolate brown furry cows roam, and a yellow lab and Australian shepherd run circles around them at sunset. You watch the sunset over the St. Lawrence from an orchard hilltop and revel in the tapestry of peak fall foliage. Dressed in a warm, fuzzy sweater, you hug your arms around your torso as the chill of night sets in. The peppery and sweet smell of smoke travels through chimneys from centuries-old wood stoves to create squiggly black smoke trails across the orange and raspberry sherbet-hued skies. You return to the cozy blue guest house and sit in a wooden rocking chair on the white porch. You rock away all concerns and savor the temperature of the air as you inhale and exhale. You close your eyes and imagine all the wisdom these islands and nature can offer you. You open your eyes and realize this may be your favorite view of the 1,000 islands yet, cast in the glossy, gilded glow of an autumn sunset. Time continues to slip through your hands, and you stay until the sky turns into a velvety purple-black canvas for the stars and crescent moon to shine. Feeling quite tired, you rise from the rocking chair and settle in the guest house. Its interior is rustic. The walls are made of shiplap, and most items contained are made of cast iron, ceramic, and wood, materials that withstand the test of time. On this autumn night, you sleep with ease. The slightly cracked windows offer the perfect temperature for slumber, refreshing the air of the warm bungalow. Your body is warm, relaxed, and comfortably tucked beneath a heavy patchwork quilt. Each new memory in this landscape makes you feel more grateful for the magic of the 1,000 islands. And though the stay is brief, you know you will soon return. Winter arrives early in this part of North America, and the first snowfall occurs days after Halloween celebrations. The St. Lawrence River freezes each year, and passage becomes difficult by boat, if not impossible. You arrive in Clayton during the holiday season, as Christmas lights adorn cottages and white picket fences of the historic harbor town. Light flurries fall as you walk along the harbor and listen to the crackling of small pieces of ice that float across the river. Church steeples rise as high as the skeleton branches of barren trees, strung with sapphire and white fairy lights. At nightfall, the annual Christmas parade begins downtown. Fire trucks adorned with metallic blue icicle lights slowly make their way through crowds of children bundled in winter parkas and fuzzy hats. Locals dressed as elves ride on the trucks, decked out with glowing snowmen, reindeer, and illuminated candy canes in this wintry parade of lights. You stand behind the crowds and inhale the frigid air, grateful for your scarf and the faux fur ear flaps of a hat you bought in the village. colorful lights cascade like glowing nets over nearly every vehicle in the parade. Santa and Mrs. Claus ride on the final float, and children clamor around them, eager to catch candy canes and the promise of more holiday splendor come Christmas morning. The parade ends and the crowds disperse and gather around a stage in the heart of the village where a band plays popular holiday songs. You meander towards the water as the snow falls harder and begins to accumulate. You walk to the Harbor Hotel, which is decked out with boughs of holly and twinkling ivory lights. A fire casts the snow in amber light from a fire pit surrounded by guests daring to stay outside on this cold, snowy night. You enter the warm lobby and encounter a Christmas tree overflowing with metallic tinsel, a rainbow of holiday lights, and sparkling ornaments the size of grapefruit. A few guests in holiday sweaters gather around a stone fireplace, sipping warm beverages as instrumental holiday music plays. You settle in an armchair and make polite conversation with fellow travelers who rave about the magic of the Thousand Islands and suggest the best breakfast options come morning. The camaraderie makes you feel part of something bigger, as you recognize you're not the only one who has had such life-changing experiences in this special place. You savor the smells of hot chocolate, burning wood, balsam fir, and cinnamon sticks. Laughter and joyous conversation fill the lobby with a musicality that lulls you into a peaceful state. You need not make out the words to feel connected to everyone at this inn. The day catches up with you and you start to feel tired and return to the Admiral Suite that overlooks the harbor. You peer out at the snowy night and cannot tell where the river ends and islands begin. In a few weeks' time, the river will freeze and snowmobiles will venture across the ice. This magical region showcases the adaptability of humans when they are in tune with Mother Nature and make the most of each season. This idea of surrendering to her powers offers romanticism and hope as you prepare for bed. You settle into the king-sized bed and snuggle beneath the downy comforter. Your body carries the memory of the cold, and so you revel in the comforts and softness of the bed all the more as you drift towards sleep. You glide across the bridge to your sleeping life, surrendering, letting go, and welcoming the deep peace that waits for you in the night. Finding rest, finding respite, finding solace, finding sleep. It's time to dream away.